People I never talked to would message me on Facebook and be like, your life is so cool. And I believed them, but I didn't feel it. I'd go to a really, really cool job, like snowmobile guide in Yellowstone. That's so cool. I did not feel like my life was cool. I felt lonely, and I felt like I was just constantly looking for the next thing. So then I like went to go be a dog musher in Wyoming. And again, that was like something that people was like unexpected, and it was cool. And again, like I was lonely, and I couldn't figure out why I kept feeling this way until I was in Alaska, and I was like, I'm lonely because I keep moving to new places in the expectation that this is going to be really cool, not because I want to be there or because I think it's good for my life. Like, I'm doing it for other people. And when I made that realization, that was when everything started falling into place. Like, not everything worked out, but everything fell into place. So this is outside of our office. There's some more dogs. More dogs. And we also have a giant sign here. But I actually started this planning process in August. So I created all of this from scratch from August to we started taking tours out in December. So months I started a business in Teton Village nonetheless. There's something different about the Tetons, and even people that just visit it, they'll tell you the same thing. It's not like any other mountain range. And it took me a while to get here. I think so many people think that you get lucky or that everything just worked out. And I had so many moments before this worked out that I fell so hard on my face. Like, I put all my eggs in one basket and it didn't work out, and I didn't have a place to land, and it wasn't graceful. I was living in a really remote scenario because we had this apocalypse snow year, and my landlord just stopped plowing our driveway, which was a mile long. So I had to walk in and out to get to my car, and I got really bad cabin fever. And then I thought, what would be really great for that is if I go to an even more remote place. Apparently I really like testing myself. Even though I thought I was going to be living in Skagway, I actually was living in a town called Dai, which is a town that used to be a town, which is now a little conglomeration of cabins for employees at Alaska X, and what we refer to as wall tent, which was the canvas tent that I ended up living in. So it definitely was really, really remote. In probably the lowest point of my time in Alaska, I just felt really alone, and I had to look at who I was and kind of learning to be okay with myself. That's what I ended up learning when I was in Alaska. And that's when I was I wasn't okay with a lot of what was happening, but there were still parts that I was really proud of. And part of what I was proud of was that I had the courage to go do these things that I wanted to do. Each place that I've lived, I have found a lot of things I don't like about the place, about myself, about what I'm doing. But if I hadn't had those experiences, I wouldn't know that I'm capable of a lot more than I ever thought I could do. My manager, Becky Hacker, I talk about her all the time, but she's the one that gave me Electra, my first sled dog. And when I met her, I knew who I wanted to grow up to be. She had 30 dogs of her own. She was like working these seasonal jobs with them and like really crushing it. Like, I mean, I know she might not say that about herself, but I was just so impressed at the amount of fight she had in her. And I remember Becky saying that she's like, I know you want a puppy, but I have a 10-month-old dog. You know, she's not going to be good enough for my race team. I think she'd be a really good match for you. And so that's how I got Electra. Mushers do not give away lead dogs. They give away like super old dogs or like dogs that just like are not fit for like whatever they need. Like they're not your best dogs. And so Electra is like my pride and joy, but she was like, she just like didn't want to race. She didn't want to go long distances, which is what Becky was training for. But I think it's funny because in a lot of ways, she has been a lead dog for my life, which sounds really corny, and I know that. But if it hadn't been for me, like having Electra in my life, like my parents were furious when they found out I was getting a dog, and I was supposed to be going back and living with them afterwards in Michigan. And they're like, no, you can't, like, you cannot live with us and have this dog. And that was my moment where I thought, you know, I'm going to change my life. Like, I will change my life so I can keep this dog. Like, it was a line and I could have strayed from it, but she kept pulling me back. She kept making sure, like, no, Mom, like, you can do this. And like, if you don't think you can, I'm going to do a lot of really bad things to make you realize I need to be a working sled dog.
So the first sled dog that I personally met was Electra, Abby's first sled dog. And I kind of learned pretty quick that sled dogs are a little different, a little high energy and high strung. We tried to make Electra into a house dog, and that does not go well. I mean, she's bred for a specific thing, and we kind of tried to change her and put her in a spot that's just not natural. And after getting frustrated multiple times, we kind of realized that it's really not her, it's us. So we realized pretty quick that we'd have to do something.
So through all of like the tears and her running away and destroying everything I own, she just proved to me that I could be a dog washer. I could own my own company. I could get more dogs and I could be successful at that. No one expected me to be an entrepreneur. Like, I did not expect that for myself. I don't have a degree in business. Like, how could I ever do that? But it turns out if anyone, literally anyone can do it. You just have to really be okay being uncomfortable. And you have to be okay risking everything and knowing it might not work out. They always tell you not to put all your eggs in one basket, but why not? I just knew that if I didn't put everything I had into this, I would really regret it.
So we kind of pulled together all the money we could and signed deals as far as leasing land and leasing buildings, leasing everything that we needed, and then went out and bought 18 sled dogs at first, plus Electra, so 19. Up with 3 more puppies later in the year.
Michael was the one that wanted the puppies, which admittedly are great marketing. It's a shadow. And I love them, but they are monsters. We went to go get 1 puppy, and then they said, well, we'll give you a better deal if you get 2 puppies. And then we get there, and of course there's one that I want, and Michael didn't pick that one. She said, well, you can have all 3 for the price of 2. And it wasn't even like most couples, I think, like talk about that kind of thing in depth before. And I looked at Michael and he like, I just knew, like there was no discussion. It was like, we are going to get 3 dogs. I know most girls like want engagement rings. And I'm like, well, if you commit to having 3 puppies, that's good enough. Since I've gotten him on the runners, he is hooked. Like I never expected him to love dog mushing. I always wanted him to support it and be okay with it, that I do it. He loves it.
I got hooked pretty quick. I mean, they're just unbelievable what they do and their skills and how fast they go now, as they've just done it every day, trained. And you've also learned a lot. You kind of know what they can do, what you can do, and it's kind of amazing the wavelength you can get on with the dogs once you really connect with them, and you can read each other.
So that's been really exciting, and he works like incredibly hard, and he helps me every day with the dogs. Like I've never asked him, and now I do, but when we started out, I always said like this is my thing, and I could take care of the dogs by myself if you need me to. Like if you don't want to have to do this extra work, like you didn't ask for this.
I got a job at the Jackson Hole Airport. I start the days at 2 in the morning, and then I'm done by 12, hopefully. And then I head out to Teton Village and join Abby. And we're done by 5. We leave Teton Village, we have to go home and put all the dogs away, and then you have to feed them. So by the time you're done with that, it can be 6:30, 7 o'clock by the time you're all said and done with the chores. And then you have to, eat something yourself. So then you do that, and then it's pretty much right to bed.
No question, he is always out there with me. It doesn't matter what the temperature of the weather. It doesn't matter if it's blizzarding. Like he is always out there, which to have that kind of like support in a partner is not something I ever thought I would get. I've always wanted a cabin in the woods, like since I was a little kid, and I'm so excited because it's gonna have everything I want. We have views of the mountains, and we're gonna have a porch, and I'm gonna get to sit and drink coffee and have be surrounded by woods. What more could you want? My family grew up watching all those shows in Alaska about people that build their own cabins. And I'm here to tell you that when they dramatize things and everything goes wrong, that is what happens. Everything goes wrong. Oh, yeah. Our cabin. So first, let me point out, we were warned. You don't buy hillside property. You don't do it. And what did we do? We bought hillside property.
It makes everything 10 times harder than working on flat ground.
So we snowmobiled out to the property to go see it, and I think it was March. We couldn't get there on snowmobiles because there was too much snow. So we had to crawl on our hands and knees.
We should have known then, because I think it took us all day to get into here.
This should have been, like, we should have thought about like this moment and been like, this is probably what the rest of the experience is going to be like. We don't have a road. So all of the materials that we've been using, we've had to essentially like load into a truck to get to one step of the hill. And then we have to move it all to another vehicle, usually my Jeep, to get it the rest of the way up the hill and then unload it at the actual job site. So it's just like constantly moving things. Like the whole summer we were actually living in a camper and we had to truck all our water in. We had a generator, so that was nice, but I am unable to start our generator because I am not strong enough. So when it was just me out there, there was no electricity. My family came to visit my parents who are in their 60s and our cement mixer didn't work. So I'm having my parents in their 60s hand mix cement or concrete for our house. Lugging 80-pound bags of concrete is not fun. It's really hard. It's really, really hard, and it makes you question your sanity like daily.
So this corner is going to be a bedroom. It's 10 by 12, I believe. 10 by 12 bedroom. And we have a bathroom. We have a utility room in the back corner. And I can't remember its dimensions. And then a bathroom that, I can't remember how it worked out, but bathroom's like roughly right here. And then the kitchen wraps around right here, right as you enter. And then a little seating area. And then up top, it's going to have a loft at 12 feet and it's 16 foot to the top. So we're going to have pretty good sized loft upstairs. That will be second bedroom. Originally, our plan was to move into this last September. It was actually, the thought was kind of near Abby's birthday there, beginning of September. And we did not even have one wall up, I think, by the time we hit September.
Yeah, so it's been a really intense process. We ended up hiring a contractor. That was the best decision we've ever made. He did really great work. It definitely went significantly over budget, but it was absolutely worth it. We have 4 walls and a roof now after all of that. So for people that want to build their own cabin, really think about it. Also, really think about when you and your significant other are in like stressful situations, how does that work out? Because times that by 100, and that's what building a house together is like. Like I think about all the people settling here and they had barn raising parties, and I really wish those were still a thing. Be great. Everyone just takes, you know, a little bit and you get a wall and you have a house in like a day. Why can't we still do that? I'm so happy we decided to do it because I think I always would have wondered, like I think I always would have thought that I could do it. Like I always would have had it in my mind that I want to build a cabin in the woods. Like I could totally do that by myself. And now I know that I cannot do it by myself, that having help is really necessary. Building a cabin was honestly, the terrifying part to me wasn't building it or being without water or electricity. It was the fact that I was settling onto a piece of property. I felt really weird for like always having this feeling like I didn't want to be tied down like that. I love chaos. Like the minute that I signed up for this was the path that I chose, which I'm so happy with. Like I have no regrets, but as someone who likes to try new things, it's like, I have too many dogs to do anything with my life other than this again. There's a lot of people that do things in life that are not filling them up, and they know that. They know they are not fulfilled. They know that it's just going through the motions, and they continue to do it because the alternative is doing something unknown. I'm not always happy on the trail, but I get there. Like, I get happy because I'm doing something that has a meaning. I think you have to really test yourself. You have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations to know who you truly are as a person. And there's nothing wrong with living a life that you're content with, like just content. But I think if you want to do something great, you have to be uncomfortable. You have to risk that. And I'm so happy that I have.